Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation. This is a game between Team Empire and Team Dignitas. It's a best-of-3 series. We're looking at Game 2. I'm Blaze, this is Rainmaker, and we'll begin on into it very soon. But that first Game 1 was very exciting. Some diverse picks, some interesting play, and in the end it goes the way of Dignitas. So what do you think is going to be brought to this Game 2?
Yeah, I'm really curious because Dignitas has shown that they have multiple faces in these last couple weeks. They're willing to go for that kind of 4 protect 1 strategy. They've even gone as far to pick a hero like Spectre. They've shown that they're willing to go and do that kind of like really aggressive aggressive tri lane, no real carry, use a Weaver to kind of go and push them into the late game like we saw last game. So by going and having this kind of range of tactics, it goes and opens them up into being able to go and execute a lot of different strategies. But I think it's going to come down to like what Team Empire forces them into. Team Empire now with the second pick, they're probably gonna have to ban out that Wisp. They're probably gonna have to go ban out to that Keeper of the Light themselves, and then with that, they're curious to see how they're going to go and try to put the pressure on Dignitas, because I feel that that is Team Empire's strength, is that they're able to go put a lot of early pressure on and then use that to go and kind of propel them into the late game.
Absolutely.
With that Bat Rider ban, though, I'm curious to see, is Dignitas going to go and take the trouble to ban out the Darkseer or ban out the Keeper of the Light themselves, and force them into kind of one of those, I won't say tier 2, but I'll say like A class instead of S class first picks.
That's a good point. I mean, what they could do is just ban out something that I think Team Empire might want, like a Darkseer, but something that they don't necessarily want themselves, so that
Right.
Team Empire is forced to choose between heroes like Keeper Light and Wisp, and inevitably Dignitas will be able to pick one of those up, and that's going to set them off right off the bat with a lot of pressure, a lot of really big damage, but they're going to go with the Keeper Light ban, and as per the standard, we're probably going to see a Wisp taken off the board. So now they have the option of the Darkseer themselves, but Team Dignitas hasn't really been playing that. They're going to pick up the Ancient Apparition.
I don't get it. But like, I'm really excited to see it. It's a lot of global. We've been talking about range of initiation all day. The Ancient Apparition, that's about as, range as you can get on your initiation. And I just don't know how they're going to lane it. Like, support Ancient Apparition means you're at level 6 and we really want level 11. It's going to be a bit late. We've been seeing some builds where you actually go and get the passive that gives you the bonus damage and really early on and use that to some effectiveness, but I don't know how they're going to quite go around this, and this is actually very scary to play against if they have some sort of pocket strat based around this, because Ancient Apparition is actually a terror in team fights, and not bad, just in a tri-lane situation. That stun, if you have something to set it up, it does work, much like a Leshrac. It's not a reliable stun at 1, but if you have, some friends around, it can work.
Absolutely. One thing I've seen more and more often is Chilling Touch being maxed out as priority, and just leaving like rank 1 Cold Feet, rank 1 Vortex, and then going for big damage through that Chilling Touch. And I think these two heroes are a good answer for that. The Lifestealer being able to be immune, the Darkseer picking up a Hood or a Pipe early on, just nullifying a lot of that incoming damage. And although healing effects don't work during the Ice Blast, the immunity or the absorption effect, the kind of shield that Pipe provides, is definitely one of those things. So they're playing very similar to the previous style with Visage and Clockwork. And I'm curious to see if they want to go for maybe a Grave Chill, Cogs, and Cold Feet combo and just make sure that they can lock down one single target, one single support that they can just ride on all through the laning phase and make it miserable for him. In the previous game, it was kind of Tides of Time on the receiving end of that, but now they want to be kind of delivering that pressure out and maybe playing another aggressive tri-lane, but this time AA instead of Witch Doctor, and see how that plays on out.
I think AA is actually even more terrifying than a Witch Doctor in that situation, because Vortex plus Soul Assumption is actually a stupid amount of damage in the early game. And also, instead of having the cask, which isn't really, it's like has a higher upside but isn't quite as reliable, Cold Feet will go and lock someone down if you're able to get off a decent Cogs, or even Grave Chill plus Cold Feet. I think that is pretty much a guaranteed stun against a lot of heroes. So they have a lot of presence that way. And I'm just curious to see how they'll flesh this out. I'm pretty sure that if Dignitas, had their pick of the lot, they would probably go into Queen of Pain for their solo mid, just because, again, we've just been talking about range. Blink plus Scream plus ulti, it's a ton of damage, and it synergizes really well with Ancient Apparition's ult and, Visage's nuke. You're able to go and just pull people down immediately, and if you get far enough ahead, it's enough just with Queen of Pain ult and AA ult that you can actually kill some squishier supports. But with Queen of Pain gone, with Puck gone, those are the longest initiation of the solo mids already off the table, and what they'll go for here it's a little bit trickier because they do need something to go and be able to very quickly follow up on that Ancient Apparition and Visage. They might go for something a little bit unorthodox. We could see some, like maybe an Invoker for even more global presence and, a lot of AoE in the mid game. Also, a pushing power of an Exhort Invoker is, not to be trifled with. That level 2, those 2 Fort Spirits mow down towers very quickly. The minus armor synergizes very well with Visage. And it also gives them that global presence with the Sunstrike, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen... Well, I've seen Dignitas play Invoker, but it was a very long time ago.
Oh yeah, I mean, at one point that was Fogg's signature hero, but so many nerfs since then has kind of taken him off the board. One thing to mention is Magnus is still on the board. If they want to go for some kind of really 100% stable setup for the Ice Blast, you get a reverse polarity off, you follow that up with the Ice Blast with Soul Assumption. Whoever is the focus of that is just 100% dead. The way Ice Blast works is if they drop down to a certain percentage of their HP at the threshold, they instantly die, and whatever brought them to that is going to give them the killing blow. So 10%, 11%, 12%, that pretty much just the second that hits them, not only does a decent amount of damage up front, but it also takes off a huge chunk of their health bar for that entire debuff duration. So you nuke that with the Soul Assumption, with something, a powerful disable like the Reverse Polarity or something like that, and you can just really, really bring it to the opposition. So that would be a really nice maneuver there, but we already see kind of a respect ban of the Fogged Puck being taken off the board, and along with that, the Silencer and Gyrocopter dishing out a lot of AoE in their own respects.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see what they'll go for here. I think Empire, that's a really smart ban on the Gyrocopter, because, that would synergize particularly well. And it's one of the few heroes that can solo very safely against basically any hero on that solo safe lane. But Dignitas' options are fairly limited here. I'm not sure who in their hero pool they really like here. They could go for a Lone Druid, however. And I think that would go quite well. It gives them a lot of early pressure, and if they're able to get a decently timed Radiance plus Clockwork and Visage, it's actually surprisingly irritating to deal with.
Yeah. So I think that Team Dignitas is kind of doing what they did before and just trying to put out tons of aggression up top. And although Lifestealer is the right answer there, I think if Dignitas can guarantee that lane 1 gets some kills on line, whatever they put as a solo safe lane is still going to get a perfectly fine time. Queen of Pain, which some people are talking in the chat as if a lot of people believe that it's Vigos, and I could definitely see that, or the way the Queen of Pain's been played and so on and so forth. Not guaranteed, but oh my gosh. Whatever comes out next. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a Spectre, but the one thing is, Team Empire is not in any way, shape, or form ever going to pick up a Spectre for themselves. So with the banning phase already proceeding on through, if they go for Warlock, the Spectre is 100% an option. And they have the amount of aggression to put it in towards that, but then they're going to change up the lanes entirely. They're going to have Clockwork on the top, AA Visage, bottom with Spectre, and Warlock mid. Is what
That's actually, those are fine lanes too. This is the thing. This is why I love teams playing these days, because there's so much flexibility in the early drafts that they're able to go and completely go and switch it and turn the draft around. And Team Empire was thinking, man, this is going to be so aggressive. How are we going to deal with this? Now they have to worry. It's not a lock that Team Dignitas is going to go for a super late game carry, but they have to worry about it now, and it's going to change how this next pick works out. And Dignitas really with the twist right there in the end. And even if they don't go for a Spectre, what if they go for a Luna or something that can, easily solo a safe lane? They have, a lot of potential. And now Empire in this very, very tricky situation.
Yeah. So Fogged is definitely going to be playing that Warlock mid. The question is, how aggressive do they want to be? They want to go super safe lane farm Spectre and just have Visage AA support him 100% guaranteed creeps? Or are they going to go for even more kills beyond that and just put out damage like crazy in the mid to late game? And now we're going to see it. We have up to 60 seconds away, but I definitely think it's what they're looking at. And they're just kind of, crossing their T's and dotting their I's as far as making sure that they've double-checked everything and are raring to go against this lineup if this is what they're going to pick. But either way, any kind of AoE will synergize nicely with the Warlock and be able to dish out a ton of damage. The Fatal Bond is just so powerful. And the Chaotic Offering, really great setup stun. Even on Lifestealer, it gets disabled on out. And along with that, the Fatal Bonds is HP removal, so Darkseer picking up an early pipe won't necessarily completely destroy that idea. So it works out pretty nicely, but yeah, 30 seconds, come on. I really want to see it. If Team Dignitas does pick up the Spectre, I mean, I've seen them play it before, but it didn't work out for them, and that's kind of what I want to see, this shift of the metagame, just move on forward, and it is going to come out, so this is going to be awesome. So
yeah, this is such a great lineup, and also it's going to be so hard to go. Oh, they pick up the Undying. They're going to aggressively tri lane. Yeah, Jakiro Lifestealer Undying. That's a very strong aggressive tri lane. But I think they should be able to handle it fairly well. Visage and AA are very strong tri-lane heroes, and it's going to be difficult to dive on them. Undying, if they're able to get a quick tower though, and Undying's kind of able to move forward and have that strong mid game presence, it's going to be fairly difficult for Spectre to find room to farm. But at the same time, is going to be it's going to be on the Clockwork to go and deal with that Darkseer top. That's not as bad of a matchup as it seems at first. Cogs is stupidly good, so you're able to go and win a lot of lanes that you couldn't otherwise win. So he should be okay top. But if the Clockwork does poorly, if Universe isn't able to do well against the Darkseer, they're going to be in a very rough time because they can't afford to have a solid Darkseer and an Axe in the mid game.
Wow. So Godlock going for an interesting item build. I was trying to think of what he would be bringing to the lane up top, and he's going to actually just bring a bunch of GG branches. He has focused mostly on making sure they have the courier, the wards, and everything to stay active there. I'm not sure if they pulled any restoration there, but it looks like Scandal's just going to do his standard thing down on bottom. And from they're going to make sure that they have as much pressure as possible early on with the sentries up on the Jakiro. So they want to put this pressure on Spectre. They don't want this to go super late game because with Warlock and Spectre combined together, there's no late game that will work out for Empire. They're going to be on the ropes starting at maybe the 35-40 minutes. Sorry, I should rephrase that. They have to be putting Dignitas on the ropes at that point in time. Otherwise, it's going to go crazily in favor of Dignitas and Titus. The scalability of Spectre's dispersion, the damage potential also of the Desolate, it's just really ridiculous what they can output with those illusions, and Ice Blast and Fatal Bonds just going along with that just as effectively. So we're going to see a lot of 3v3 skirmishes early on, and Empire really needs it to work out for them right off the bat. We do see a double decay. The Open Wounds comes out onto Way Too Sexy, trying to dish out tons of damage, and they certainly can on the front line here. He might be the first blood, so slow. He does get the Chilling Touch to help him out, but oh, the decay finishes him off. Godlike picking up that first blood, putting some damage into Tides of Time now, and they can focus them down pretty hardcore. Already down to half HP. Ice Path comes through. They could be a double kill if they get the double. There's the decay. One more. There we go. And that is just too much. I was talking about how Empire needed a great start, and if there is a better start, I don't even know it. Ice Path about to finish off Aoi 2012. Don't even need it. The right click will come on through. Very nice haste room for the Jakiro. Getting two full, I mean, that's a long cooldown. Open Wounds, it's 24-second cooldown. Got the second one off to get a third kill.
Meanwhile, in mid lane, okay, nope. They're gonna
he has
go
Ice Path.
again.
He can block him out entirely. This is another kill. This is another kill. Fog just tries to juke as hard as he can, but that amount of time, it just takes too long. He's going to get dropped 4-0 in favor of Empire, and if you are going for such a late game team and you've dropped this many heroes already, I mean, this is like giving them a Roche. They have a 1,500 gold advantage and moving in towards the same amount of experience. It's ridiculous how great of an advantage they have going on through.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their strategy is going to be here, because it seems like this Tides has kind of, he's rotated into Jungle Spectre. He just doesn't even want to be in the lane, try to get any experience in farm he can. He's going to make these pulls work for him, but man, this is not what they looked for when they picked this Spectre. And I think that's just the weakness of Spectre. You can do literally nothing level 1. And also, on top of that, the level 1 Chilling Touch didn't really help them in that fight at all.
Nope.
You know, that's one of those spells that it's very good if you're able to get a favorable engagement, but when you're behind, man, you do not want to have Chilling Touch leveled up.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Empire, they're just camping the spawns. They're just chilling out here, pulling their own camps, pulling that large camp, which is, you know, one of the great things about playing an offensive tri-lane from the Radiant side, and getting a bunch of farm that they really they shouldn't have gotten, but those early kills, it's enough to make it happen.
Yeah, most definitely. So they're going to farm with the neutrals at the same time that Aoi is trying to stay on top on the eastern end. And actually, no, sorry. Tides of Time is actually picking up the Spectre, and Aoi's on the Visage once more. So that's either way. They're going to Bloody Brand is controlling these pulls very nicely. If he actually makes sure that the neutrals don't take a single lane creep, then that's just pretty much setting them up to keep that aggression rolling. We actually do see a solo kill on bottom, and that's just based on Scandal playing that Darkseer so well. It's one of his signature heroes, and having that Iron Shell rank 2 finishes off with the vacuum usage and pulls Clockwork in. In this matchup here, Battery Assault compared to Iron Shell, the Iron Shell, oh crap, he actually loses a salve to a range creep. That kind of sucks. But actually up on top, Aoi getting completely pinned in, and Jakiro's going to pick up another kill for himself, so he's 2-0-3. Silent is just in a perfect spot, and with all this creep pulling going on, they're actually going to be able to put a ton of damage in the tower. No liquid fire yet, but they still can get a lot of quick, easy right clicks off, and more towers that drop, the less time that Spectre has. It's kind of a ticking time bomb there, and they're trying to defuse it as quickly as possible. But One thing, just trying to finish out a thought on the bottom lane matchup. Battery Assault versus Ion Shell. Ion Shell is going to be able to deal more damage unless he's all by himself. Battery Assault, of course, getting the single target out every single time, is going to come out on top, but right now we don't see Universe looking to max it. He's looking to max out the rocket and get at least 1 point in the cogs as well. So Scandal is generally going to be in every single exchange in a favorable position here.
Yeah, I think that he really needs to max out that rocket, though, because he needs to start sending rockets top to prevent them from losing this tower. Because right now, oh god, now even this camp is blocked for Spectre. Spectre, Tides have been doing great pulls. He's pulling down to the small camp, pulling it to the large camp, and just getting some experience that way. But if they're able to stop this, he is literally going to have nothing. He's managed to pick up level 3, though, and that is far more than he'd be able to do in lane. This is just great adaptation. When you realize you're in an awful... You never want to have to be jungling your Spectre, right? That's not what you want. But... The ability to adapt to that situation and be like, okay, well, we're not going to get anything in lane, we might as well get something in the jungle. It just shows that Dignitas, they're rather able to play from behind, and they're not a team that's going to stick to a plan even though they know it's going to cost them. Meanwhile, Tide's going to go and check that Illusion route and just pulling back in. I can't imagine. There's no way this is like planned, though. There's no way you're actually going to play support Spectre, right? Because I've seen support Gyrocopter, but that one makes sense. But maxing Spectral Dagger kind of makes me worried.
Yeah, it's pretty much meaning that he isn't as survivable as he would intend to be. It does help out making sure that they do actually slow them down and speed up the Spectre, and he can be very mobile using the terrain control and things along those lines. But he doesn't have that much mana to work with, can only actually cast out 2 of them, and then Tides is completely out of commission there, and of course he doesn't have that much lane contribution in the first place. Now we do see an Open Wounds Ice Path coming down onto Way Too Sexy, and that should be an easy kill as well. So just him being caught out by himself. And now we do see Aoi just trying to hold onto the tower, actually in a pretty bad spot himself considering the creep wave, and now all 3 are just going to close on in. He has to actually TP out. The Ice Path won't connect, and they do actually waste out the Tombstone, so that helps out a little bit, but the tower will fall inevitably. They don't have those nice little familiars this time around to finish it off, and instead the kill is going to go across the board to the Radiant. I kind of feel Blow Your Brain could really benefit from that early gold, but either way, going to get it so that the entire team gets a little bit a piece of the pie.
I believe that actually on the tier 3 towers, it's actually slightly better net gold wise to give it to the Radiant. Everyone gets a little bit more. It changes as you progress further onwards, but you're definitely right. You'd rather have all the gold centralized on the carry like Blow Your Brain than all across the board. But it doesn't hurt, and especially looking at mid, it seems like I don't know how exactly, but Fogged is doing fine in this lane. He's getting gone on here again, but he's definitely behind in CS. Right, but he's got 13 CS.
Initiation up top, Ancient Apparition going to drop first, and Blow Your Brain is just going to fall back from there. So they get the Ice Path, they just keep on doing what they've been doing. Don't even need a Tombstone to set up these kills. They just find one quick opening, open up the wounds, Ice Path them down, and pretty easy kills from there. So it's been really, really progressive for them, just continually keeping that pressure relentless. But yeah, as far as mid goes, he is surviving very nicely. It's just pretty much
he's just surviving.
Warlock making sure his Shadow Pain is maxed out, or Shadow Word is actually going to be keeping him up and sustained on the lane effectively, though he has enough mana to work with, as his int growth is actually sitting at 2.7. So he has a decent amount to work with here and there. And
bot lane?
Although actually, yeah, that's a big, big crusher. And with that ultimate, easy kill. Queen of Pain picking up that kill and not losing too much with the regen having already popped up. So VB having a good time there, and Scandal can start creep skipping to push down on this tower. So looking at levels, I think that's a big factor in how many kills have been on the board. 9-0 in favor of Empire, huge early game presence, and we do see Queen of Pain, Darkseer, and Lifestealer on top as far as levels go. The Warlock and Clockwork are even with the Lifestealer, but when you have your solo mid equivalent to their tri-lane carry in levels, you really feel like you're behind.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably because they are behind. They're basically relying on the fact that the Rock is really strong, right? And if they're able to get a couple good engagements off with that Clockwork Hook and Rock, they can kind of slingshot their way back into the game because they're so far behind now that every kill they get is so much experience to these poor supports like Ancient Apparition and Visage, who are respectively at level 3 and 4, that they're going to be able to kind of get themselves back into the game, but I don't think Empire's going to let them. I think they're just going to play a little bit back and kind of just cement their advantage. If you look at it, they're, pretty far ahead, and once they finish that Django, they'll just get further ahead, and I believe that is just about a finished Django.
Yeah, Drum of Nerds should be coming up for the Lifestealer pretty soon, and Scandal making his way, well on his way towards the mechanism, actually. Yeah. Only just 600 gold shy of that, or 900, whatever the rest be. I'm kind of out of it at the moment, but...
Yep, but just about 900 gold away.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wait. Yeah, is it? Yeah, I believe that you are correct.
Yeah, I don't know why I blanked on that one, but not a big deal. Blow Your Brain in aggressive position where Tides has to pop a defensive Spectral Dagger the second he sees his enemy. If that's the situation, how can you possibly imagine a farm? Now we see Aoi dropping on the back end of things, Ancient Apparition level 3, so these kills are coming quick. A rank 4 Scream takes out almost like half his HP, 300 damage, reduced by 25%, but we're still dealing with a 560 HP Ancient Apparition. He doesn't have any movement speed, 295 compared to the Queen of Pain's 355 plus a rank 2 Blink. You can't run, you can't hide, and you certainly can't survive against that. So they're just going to keep this gank pressure rolling, and I wouldn't be surprised for Dignitas to call like a 10-minute good game because they are in such a disadvantage. If any hero can come back from it, it's a Spectre. Don't get me wrong about that. But still, you have to get that farm, and right now the Spectre can't do anything more than farm up Tranquil Boots in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, if Dignitas wins, like, if Dignitas wins, I'll buy an Atos for my next, like, 20 games. How about that? Like, that's my bet here, because there's just no way it's going to happen. Like, this is just going to be... they can't contest at all. Like, there's nothing... The Spectre has 600 HP. Like, just under 700.
Yeah. Another pickup coming up through. Aoi might die to neutrals at best, but it looks like now it's going to go away. A Blow Your Brain. And they have this ward here. This ward has been up for the past 3 minutes. It's set up so many kills left and right, and it's just pretty ridiculous what they can accomplish. And now they're going pursue. Oh my gosh. Wait to Zexy's like, oh, please let me just get one level. No, not going to happen. Still sitting at level 4, and Scandal's not going to let that change anytime soon. So every single lane they go to try to farm up, they're going to start rotating. They're just going to keep tower hero kills up. Now, at this stage in the game, they don't even care that much about towers as long as they're controlling all the farm. With this ward on the mid lane, with the ward up on the top plateau, it means that literally the only time they're not being watched is at their tier 2 on bottom. There's no real point where they can find actual reliable farm, and that's just good on Empire to draft up aggressively and play it as such. They've really made it so that the last hits are minimal, nobody above 30 last hits across all of Dignitas, and that is just making sure that they can continuously just win on hero kills alone. Empire coming out, they do have that Drum of Endurance, they have the phase boots, they get pick up a Vladimir's true FNC style and come out completely on top.
I think Aoi might be dead again. Nope, they just a little bit of pressure coming out there.
Blow Your Brain actually in a pretty bad spot. If they did pop off the Clockwork Hook, they'd be in a great spot. However, now the Tombstone comes out and they have to focus that down. Infest inside of Goblak. We do see that Vivi is going to find a pick off on Spectre. Now Clockwork Hook onto Goblak, trying to pull him in, but no mana for Cogs, and he's just going to walk away. Now on the back end of things, there is Silent popping off a nice Ice Path onto Universe, and that should be enough to just finish him off outright. Now we see VV bringing down double damage to go onto Fogged Hardcore, and does have that Sonic Wave to try to finish him off. Nice Chaos offering though, as VV will survive through the mechanism, and they're just going to be able to counter-initiate and finish off on the Warlock, as well as picking up 100 gold bounty from that, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, that's our... Wow, I mean, 10 minutes, you called it exactly, 18-0. Our second perfect game, not a single tower down, and... Wow, that was an absolute stomp, and I just think it came down to the fact if you lose your tri-lane that badly, and then you lose mid lane against a team that has so much early pressure from that Undying from that Queen of Pain, Empire is too good of a team to let you get away with that, and to let you have any chance of coming back.
Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit of those early engagements that just completely started the steamroll. The 3 kills at the very beginning, one issue was AA had Chilling Touch. They got a few auto attacks here and there, but it definitely didn't help them. I mean, they weren't putting anybody in low HP. Jakiro fell back for a short time period. But in general, the pursuit came on through. The way they ran northwest in one part, then they had the, I believe it was, I'm trying to remember the last man standing, I think it was the Visage going towards the southeast, towards no real safety. The towers were very far away in that position. They were actually pretty much equidistant from those 2 points. The Chilling Touch didn't help compared to maybe an Ice Vortex, and along with that, they got caught out, in the open, with the open wound slow, with the stun initiation, and they had short enough cooldowns that they could make it just kind of accrue and over and over and over. So every single time the Decay came out from the Undying, he got stronger, they got weaker. Every single auto attack really counted at that point, and I feel that Dignitas didn't respect that enough, and they tried to fight it at the very beginning. And by this, every single time they stood there and auto attacked was another second that they couldn't be running away. And so taking a 3-0 sweep right off the bat, and then turning that into like a 9-0 really early on, plus a tower kill, it just was pretty much over from there because Spectre needs farm. He's completely useless in the first few minutes of the game, and although they tried to maybe get the Spectral Dagger to change that up a little bit, sitting on Tranquil Boots and the Stout Shield is not enough for any of his mechanics to start taking effect, and from there he was pretty much just just a walking money bag. He's just dropping coins all over the place because look at that GPM on the Darkseer and the Lifestealer. It's going to blow your brain, both above 490 in this like 11-minute game. Ridiculous. So pretty easy win for Empire, but they played it exactly as they needed to make it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just played really well, and they just, took advantage of some mistakes by Dignitas. A lot of times in professional games, both teams are very close to each other in skill, so any slight mistake is going to be enough for one team just to completely steamroll the other. I'm excited to see what Dignitas is going to bring to Game 3, and we've seen Game 1, they've shown that they can play very aggressively, very well, and I hope to see, a kind of mix of these two games, like a really long back-and-forth kind of action-packed game to close out the series.
Absolutely. So we'll go on into Game 3. Again, this was the Empire taking 1 win. Dignitas already had 1 point up, so 1-1 in this series. We're going to see who can take Game 3 to take the match. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll go on to the Game 3 in just a couple minutes.